everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Destiny. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we have our usual weekly tips for the Prestige Nightfall, which this week is the inverted Spire on Nessus. Let's start as we normally do with the modifiers, and this week it's Attrition, which means that you can only get health regeneration from killed enemies. They drop these little orbs of light looking things. At first I was confused as I thought they actually were super orbs, but no, these are how you survive. A note about this, at first you could be forgiven for thinking killing enemies directly gives you health, but these health orbs are kinda tricky. Sometimes you'll be one shot with some orbs in front of you while a Hydra rains down the pain from further away, making a dash for health unwise. Long story short, they're not always that convenient, so healing rifts for warlocks, vanished smoke grenades for hunters, and alpha loopy exotic chest pieces for titans are something that I recommend. The other modifier is for the time extension mechanic, and this week it's killing time. It's quite straightforward really, kill stuff, get time back. Now that throws up an interesting conundrum. Sometimes it's advantageous in this strike to skip sections because the time you get from killing the enemies is less than the skip time. That's quite rare for this particular Nightfall actually. In most cases you'll want to kill everything. I will however point out where we found it a good idea to skip later in the video. Next up, some general tactical tips about weapons and equipment. Because a lot of your success will depend on how efficiently you deal with larger mobs, thus saving or even gaining time, a rocket launcher with cluster bombs is a good idea for your power weapon slot. Not only is it good for ad clearing and ultra takedowns, it's also good for the final stage of the boss, as that gets very hectic with ads and you can actually use cluster bombs shot at the boss's feet for great effect. If you do have the raid rocket launcher, use that. I don't, but I do have the Vanguard rocket Curtain Call. Not perfect, but an adequate replacement. More on the boss encounter later. There's actually quite a lot of shielded enemies in this Nightfall, more so than usual, at least that's how it felt to me. So making the right energy weapon choice is crucial. You'll be using it a lot for main damage. I have the Manananan Scout Rifle. I think it's one of the top 3 PvE guns in the entire game. If you have it, I suggest you use it. As for individual section guides, I think it's easier to say this. Be methodical, kill everything as quickly as possible as a fire team and safely move through. I will show you however sections where we do have some relevant advice. When you go past the first 2 sections and reach the anchor, the fight here appears quite easy at first, but because of the health modifier, the major hydras that spawn in can be a real pain. Don't be afraid to use heavy here to take them down quick. We wasted a lot of time as they can melt you very quickly and you can't really reach any health. Their weapons also have splash damage, so hiding behind a wall won't always help. Just make sure you don't underestimate them. Now on this entrance to the excavation site, I usually recommend skipping the ads and jumping straight down. Don't bother, just grab the time and make it down safely. When you get to the bottom and get on your Sparrow, be very careful to avoid the Thresher on the battlefield. It has a naughty tendency to miracle one-shot you off your bike. Skip the battlefield as you normally would, don't hang around. Once you reach the lift section, the ads on the battlefield will despawn anyway. Once you get past it, there's a lot of ads that spawn in. This is a prime super territory for one of your party to get some time back. Just make sure that others take care of the Scions and the Juggernaut or it'll get messy quick. I used my super as well to clear one of the side rooms so we could move on pronto. Once you've killed one of the Centurions on one of the lift sides, all 3 of you should jump through that single lift. Nade the enemies at the top, and a quick note about this section. You used to be able to send one person down to activate the lifts while the others waited up top to save time. That doesn't work anymore, and even if it did, I recommend you get as much time back as possible from the bottom room. There's loads of mobs that can either be supered or rocket launched for some precious extra seconds. Now when you cross and clear the hallway directly after, I do still recommend that one of your team use their Sparrow and skip to just outside the boss room past the drill. The other 2 members should stay and kill as many enemies as they can before they die while still trying to make it through. If they do die, you can time your push into the boss room to use the start of the boss encounter for their res cooldown. When you start the fight by killing the Hydras, they'll get dragged through, and you should be able to res them by then. That's a more time efficient way of doing it. As for the boss encounter, it's more of a pain this time as the Attrition modifier really forces you into harm's way. The first section is relatively easy, but keep this in mind. There's always a section where ads spawn in before you move down a level. Deploy 1 super on each level to clear them and keep the time pressure off you. Cluster rockets are also very good for that if you don't have a super. The final section is the biggest pain. The boss will run around the outside at the beginning like he usually does. Don't waste your rockets trying to hit him here. Instead, wait until he roams in the middle trying to stamp on you. Whatever you do, don't do what I did and rocket yourself so you have to watch your friends actually finish him off. That's just embarrassing. In summary then, the hardest things about this Nightfall are being really efficient as a fire team to kill mobs as fast as possible and surviving long enough to not waste time on respawn because of the Attrition modifier. If you followed the tips I've given here, you should be fine. I really hope you found this video useful. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another one of our videos again, please click click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in good company. And finally, please follow the Your Destiny Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time,